Hi Leo, welcome to your December 2016 General Tarotscope. It's Raina here. As you can see, I've laid out the cards. I had to empty some memory from my memory card. And yeah, I only have 19 minutes, so I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. But I did want to mention some transits that are coming up because you have a strong emphasis on your 6th house of health and like work. And this could be just like the actual work you're doing that is featured. And so the examples of these triggers to that house are the fact that you have Mercury going into Capricorn, and that is your 6th house, on the 2nd of the month. It retrogrades in this house on the 19th of the month. Venus is in this house for the first week of the month. And then Venus goes into your, and then Venus goes into your 7th house. I was thinking, oh, where does Venus go? Well, it goes into your 7th house because it goes into Aquarius. And Aquarius is your opposite sign. So when I was pausing, I'm doing this all in my head, so that's why I paused. And so that's very good for your romantic life, your committed partnerships. But Venus in the 6th house for that first week can mean that you spend money on luxury items that benefit you health-wise. I mentioned to another sign, Vitamixes and dehydrators or something like that. Maybe exercise equipment, a treadmill or something. So Mars is going to be in your 7th house, going into your 8th house on the 19th. So in the 7th house, Mars can get combative. So any long-term relationships, committed partnerships, I should say, could be kind of a little bit doing battle. Hopefully not, but there could be some contention there. It can also mean the heating up of some kind of a legal matter, and then it is going into your 8th house, so I wonder if any of you have inheritance issues. So that could be like an example of that. But the other hits to your 6th house are, you have the sun going there on the 21st, and you have a new moon there on the 29th. And you also have, and so that's a new beginning in health. So you may just be naturally, with Venus retrograding there and these other kinds of things happening, you may be, with the new moon, you may be really concerned with health and turning over a new leaf. This could also have to do with your workplace or your co-workers. You may change where you work. Maybe not the whole company, but maybe a different department. There's going to be a full moon in Gemini. And so for you, this is your 11th house of hopes and wishes. So some dream that you've held, some goal that you've wanted to accomplish, maybe it does come to fruition on December 13th or thereabouts. And that would be like, magic. That would be wonderful. So hopefully something along those lines transpires for you. And I'm going to just start. The overall energy is the Chariot card. I did get a lot of major arcana for Leo in December, so this could be a change agent month for you. Sagittarius is the sun sign for most of the month. And of course for you, that is your 5th house of romance. So I should have said that, that for the first 3 weeks of the month, you have the sun, which is your ruler, in the 5th house of romance. But this could be somebody who is a Cancer individual. This could have something to do with just you being victorious over something, using the power of your, I would say your will, and you have a lot of will as a fixed sign, but specifically your concentration on a matter. This could be with your career, but this could be something personal where I think it's more of either career or maybe a legal case, because I do get justice for one of the cards. In the recent past, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So you may have come into a period of well-being, and you see that guy falling off of the wheel. I had mentioned the first time I tried to record this that you have to, sometimes I feel like this card is saying, do I really deserve this? Really feeling like perhaps you didn't deserve all this good fortune. And of course, that nothing could be further from the truth. Of course you deserve. Everyone gets what they deserve. And that's what the Justice card represents. Now, I'm talking about spiritually. We think that this is a random chaotic universe, but that's only if that's what you believe it is. Doesn't mean that it's true. So, definitely seeing that perhaps life is a lot more, purposeful or meaningful than you might have thought it is very important in making sure that you, when something good happens to you, that you no longer feel that it's random, that, it's just happening to you for no reason. And that's why I mentioned that, because the Wheel of Fortune, people say, oh, well, you're in this lucky streak, but I don't believe in that. I think that we make our luck. And whether you look at it from the law of attraction perspective or what, I don't think that things happen randomly. The higher perspective is the Devil card. This can be connected to a Capricorn individual. But in this particular context, I would say it's saying be careful of any kind of attachments or bondage that you have. With all of that good fortune, you may be kind of like, oblivious to the fact that there are things that are still kind of like keeping you ensnared in something. And maybe it's not, totally serious, but maybe it is carnal in nature. What was I going to say more about that? With, even with the Justice card, I could say, because I had mentioned with the Astrology about, inheritance issues. Maybe you have been already fighting that and you do get like some sort of victory. And it was, something you did. You really took time to investigate and you found out and you have victory. But it's saying, was the price worth it? Because of that greed, was it motivated by greed? The Devil card can definitely relate to that. Because it's a card related to Saturn, and Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, which is an earth sign, and all the earth signs, you always have to go back to the pleasures of the flesh and what are they, what is being promoted there, and sometimes that can kind of hook people into a negative, just like a negative situation for themselves. What crosses you is the Seven of Cups. There could be somebody, I would even say especially a Pisces, but maybe a Cancer, maybe a Scorpio individual who is, maybe that's the person who is keeping you down. You're having the success. Now, of course, the Justice card could relate to divorce. Are you divorcing a Cancer? And, and if you are divorcing a Cancer, or any kind of, if you're in a divorce situation, it can be something that I think is going to be beneficial for you. But the Seven of Cups can indicate some kind of a deceptive thing. Maybe somebody's offering you something that's too good to be true. This could be a business venture. But I think for some people it may have to do with in your private life. Like if you're single now, it's like the world is your oyster. And you have all these choices, but you have to choose wisely. And the devil card is right there saying, what kind of desires do you have? Where do they lead you? Do they lead you to good places? If you've been coming out of a past relationship that soured, are you going to just go right back into the fire and just more of the same? And the same applies for any kind of offer you get, business, job offers. There may be, it may be too good to be true, so check it out. We are having that Mercury retrograde starting on the 19th. Messages can get distorted. Any kind of offers, they may just be like totally held up and things like that. So that could be what's happening. I think sometimes, though, with the Seven of Cups, well, that would be, then I would read it not reversed, but in the upright position. Because sometimes the reverse position is actually you coming out of the delusion, not going into it. The advice is the Strength card, and this is Leo's card, and hence the lion. This is, I feel like, I don't think it's, telling you that you have to have strength or confidence. I think it's more a question of perhaps other Leo traits that are happening. Maybe, Leo is a very positive sign, a fire sign. With the Devil card, it could be that some of you are allowing the dark side to come. And I think that when I say dark side, I don't mean something really, really seedy. But perhaps, you've had a lot of good success and a lot of good things happening for you. It's possible that there's self-indulgence, or, if you are coming out of a long-term marriage or something, maybe you're just like, you've been pent up and you just are like, okay, let me have it. And the Strength card is more of like, maybe it's strength of your own nature, your own desiring nature. Maybe that's what you need to kind of like put into action, is more of that, like so that the devil doesn't take over. But it's really positive, because even the outcome, I mean, this is a great card too. Now, this can be a card of marriage, but it's a card of celebration, especially family celebration. And of course, at this time of year, that is certainly something that we do. So there may be some kind of gathering. Maybe you will meet somebody at a gathering. And this could even be in terms of any business ventures. You may, gain clients by some parties that you attend, and they could be family-related parties. But there's some reason to celebrate for you. And you notice that there's a rainbow in this. So, that's kind of like almost, dreams coming true, but joy is a big part of this card. And so I think that with all the major arcana cards in this reading, December may be one of those months that you look back on and say, wow, that was a real change agent month for you. So I sure hope it, pans out this way. Of course, this is a general reading, and some of the astrological transits that I mentioned, as well as the cards, but with the astral transits, the timing of these things depends on the degree of your sun or rising sign. So it's not that it may not happen for you, but not necessarily at that time that I have just stated during the month of December. So if for those who would like a private reading, that's where I use your natal chart, and it's much more specific to you. And then I also use the tarot in a secondary way in a lot of the readings. But I have, a lot of different types of readings for career and love and things like that, your natal chart interpretation. So I'm providing a link to my online store below this in case you want to see what I have. otherwise, have a great December. Bye.